Hello, welcome to FHE on the Road with Christine Stevenson. This podcast is designed to connect the people and the places from the past with your lives today, with 5-minute stories and facts from church history. Save these stories for when you are traveling through these areas to bring history to life. Okay, today we are going to talk about the first missionaries in the Florida area. We spoke a little bit about this in the Orlando, Florida Temple Facts, so if you want a little bit more information, head over there and learn about the Orlando, Florida Temple. The first missionaries of the church were not very successful in the Florida area in the very beginning, but the few people who were willing to listen to be converted to the gospel made all the difference. Today we're seeing the benefits of the hard work and stalwartness and dedication of the early saints and missionaries in the Florida area. The first record of missionaries sent to preach the gospel in Florida was in 1843. That's the year before Joseph Smith died. That is all the information recorded. We don't have anything else about that time and those missionaries. There was no record kept, and without a record, we don't have any information. So keep records, folks. We simply don't know what happened during that time. So the next known missionaries to go to Florida to teach the gospel was Phineas Young, the brother of Brigham Young. Phineas Young went to Florida in 1845, about 2 years after the first attempt of missionaries in Florida. And it was a year before the saints moved to Nauvoo, from Nauvoo to Utah. There is a record of Phineas Young distributing copies of the Book of Mormon to Native American chiefs. It does not look like he spent a lot of time in Florida, only about 2 months, and then moved on. It wasn't until 1895, 50 years after the first efforts of the missionaries, that missionaries were sent back to Florida. Florida was part of the Southern States Mission, and the missionaries would stay in Florida and teach the gospel in the winter and head to the northern areas of Florida when it was too hot. The church growth continued in Florida, but pretty slowly. It was not very quickly. There was a time that the persecution of the saints and missionaries caused for the missionaries to be removed from the state because it was unsafe in that area. This is actually the saddest story I've read about it. The first branch president, his name was George Conova. I'm not quite sure where the accent is on there. He was gunned down for being a member of the Latter-day Saint Church. It was only 6 months after Brother George Conova had been called as branch president, and he was heading home from a conference when he was gunned down. No one was ever convicted of the crime. And there's a picture of him on the website if you want to see. It's so sad. I can't believe that would happen. The saints continued to work to establish the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Florida. Because of the hard work and dedication of the Florida saints, in 1947, the first stake in Florida was created. It's also the first stake in the southern United States, and it was in Jackson County, Florida. And that is where my dad served not very long after that. Well, I guess it was like about 20 years after that. But it's pretty exciting. I can't believe how recent it was. In 1947, that wasn't that long ago. So the first stake in Florida in 1947. The best part of the story is the first stake president was Alvin Conova Chance. So he's the grandson of George Conova, the first branch president that was killed. So what are the chances, right? It came full circle. It's so amazing how the Lord works. So yes, the saints in Florida did not have it easy though. They teach about how small sacrifices built a large foundation over time. It took a long time to get the stake in Florida and a temple in the state, but now membership is growing. Today there are 2 temples in operation, 1 under construction, and 2 more just announced, for a total of 5 temples in Florida. It's amazing to see how the Lord works with his people and see the progression over time. So I love when President Nelson says the restoration is still going. This story really reminds me of that. I don't feel like I'm that old, and I feel like things are really, really rolling, especially when it comes to temple building and temple worship. So yes, this is what the first missionaries in Florida experienced. Thanks. Thank you for listening to FHE on the road today. We hope you enjoyed what you've heard. Please like, subscribe, and share with anyone who'd be interested in these stories. Thanks.